Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today, and welcome to another F1 2019 game experiment. Today, we're asking the question, what happens when we put a V10 engine into a modern F1 2019 car? We did the V12 engine after Sebastian Vettel's request at the Russian Grand Prix to bring back the V12s, but in the comments below of that video, which you guys seem to really enjoy, you wanted me to try the V10 engine, the Ferrari F2004, the most powerful car on this game in a straight line pretty much. I mean, this thing was a beast back in its day. The amount of revs with this engine, how lightweight the car was as well, was a big factor. Like, in terms of the game files, I'm pretty sure this car is 605 and the 2019 car is like 735, so it's a big difference in terms of weight as well. But we're going to see what happens when we put the V10 engine into the 2019 Ferrari car and see how it stacks up. But what we're going to do, like we did with the V12 car, is go into the coding basically of the actual car files and swap over the engine power itself. So you can see here the power spline, as it were. We're going to take the power from the 2004 Ferrari, put it in the 2019 car. The rest of it will leave, so the turbo, the full ERS motor, everything like that, because if we were to put a V10 engine into a modern F1 car, I feel like they would always still couple it with electrical energy, with ERS, because it's just the way F1 is now, the way the vehicle, the entire automotive industry is obviously going towards being more efficient, being more, eco-friendly, if you were, and trying to be as efficient as possible with electrical energy. So we'll keep the ERS in there like we did with the V12 engine. I don't know how well it will work, to be honest. Like it didn't really seem to, well, it worked a little bit, I guess, but it was hard to tell, really. The gearbox, last time with the V12 engine, I believe we brought the gearbox over. We brought the 7-speed gearbox over to the car. This time, because it's a V10 engine, it's from 2004, not all the way in 1990. It's 2004, so it's relatively quite near relative to the V12 experiment we did. So I would think, you know what, they would probably try and make the V10 engine, they'd probably do it in a way to have an 8-speed gearbox. I think the ratio they'll be running with the ERS and how powerful the engine is as well, I think they'd probably run an 8-speed gearbox here. So that is what is on the agenda for today, for today's experiment. Before we get into seeing how it does against the other 2019 cars, as usual, let's see how the car sounds and drives first of all in some time trial. Right, we're in the garage. Are you ready, kids? I'm sure a lot of you guys who are big Ferrari fans, or probably still Ferrari fans to this day from there, but big Ferrari fans back in the day of 2004 era, will very much enjoy this sweet sound. So it's maybe not exactly the same absolute whine and roar from 2004. Of course, the revs are still a lot lower than they used to be back in the day. That is just a cause of, obviously, the 2019 car, the way it's set up. The revs are lower than they used to be. There's not that same whine, and that's also a reason why, with the V6 engines, if they revved higher, they probably would sound better to those critics that still don't like the sound after so many years of having them now and getting used to them. But yeah, so I can feel there is a decent amount of acceleration. I definitely feel like, again, with a V12 car, it's going to be the same thing of the wind-up, because because we're not revving as high in the lower gears, the wind-up for the acceleration is a little bit slower. But then when we get to the top-end speed, 7th gear, 8th gear, the car really does start to carry some speed there. But it's going to be obviously hard to tell right now just with my own lap. And clearly, a lot of power delivery there for me in first gear then. Not used to that. But we'll only find out, obviously, until we hit the track with some AI cars. But instead of going to the Italian Grand Prix, I thought we'd changed up. Let's go to the French GP this time. Another test circuit of mine from experiments, basically. And I thought I'd just change it up in terms of having the same exact scenery in the video compared to the V12 car. So let's go to France and let's see how this car shapes up against the normal 2019 cars. Right, so in the one-shot qualifying, Leclerc, with a simulated AI time, did a 1:29 dead, 4 seconds faster than Lewis Hamilton there. So apparently we've created an absolute machine. We'll see what I can do from the back of the grid, and hopefully I'll be joining Leclerc at the front. But Something tells me something will go wrong, because it always does with these experiments, because we're just breaking the game. But that's a pretty insane difference there of lap time. Alright, it's showtime. Shut up, Crofty. I'm talking. It is showtime. From last place on the grid, a 5-lap race. Let's see how this V10 2019 F1 car drives in the hands of Sebastian Vettel and myself on a controller, as per usual. With these experiments, I don't like to take it too seriously. Here we go then to 5 red lights, and we're underway, and straight away, pretty good start there compared to the Williams car. Need to get up the gears, but once we do, the power comes through, and there's a bit of a kerfuffle there ahead of us, so we're going to try and keep the nose clean. I feel like I probably would have overtaken some cars if it wasn't for that crash with 2 of the AI cars. I don't actually know. I think actually, hang on. I think one of them was Leclerc. Yeah, it's Leclerc. Leclerc's gone so slowly. He's gone off pole position, and the AI's just slammed into him because he's going at the speed of slow. What is he doing? He's just stuck in first and second gear, so I don't know what Leclerc's done. The AI apparently can't drive with the V10 car properly like I can, but then he got pole position. So that's very confusing. But look, he's just stuck in second gear. So, that's an odd one. But we move, we continue. I'm driving just fine, actually, as we dive bomb down the inside of the Williams car. Try to, at least, as a bollard goes flying off my face. But I feel like maybe the way I'm driving right now is the way Leclerc could drive in qualifying with the simulation. But when it comes to actually the AI physically driving this car, it just can't seem to do it. It's where we build up the power, and look at that, having to try and weave around because I was catching the Haas so fast there. We've got ERS to use, remember, as well, so I got to overtake mode. Really catch up on Grosjean here. Make a dive around the outside. Going to go down the ERS modes, though. Try and save some ERS for later on. The Haas tries to defend. We get up into P13. It's going well, and I feel like once we get into like 5th gear, that's when the power really comes through. It really starts to wind up here. And the fuel usage isn't too bad, actually. 84% standard mixture. I'll keep the rich mixture for a little bit later here. We try and catch through. The grip comes through. The power comes through a little bit in 5th gear as well. Around the outside, we're going to sail it. Oh, look at this. Come on, rev out. Just about got squeezed out back of Fiat, but got Sergio Perez done, even on low ERS. The car is looking and feeling pretty good. Can we make a dive here? Going to let the car roll through and dive down the inside. Bit of a lock-up here. A lot of lock-ups, actually, because I'm on the controller, of course. So lock-ups galore here with the left-hand trigger being my only thing to brake with. But here we go now. Look at the power coming through. Overtake mode, engage. Gaining, we're topping out a little bit in 8th gear, so maybe unlike the real V10 cars of yesteryear in 2004, it tops out a little bit earlier than maybe they did, but we're definitely feeling the power. I'm definitely feeling the power in these middle gears as Raikkonen makes an exquisite move on the outside of Ricciardo there, I must say, although Ricciardo's got a bit of front wing damage, so not surprised there as we now send it down the inside up into P9. Right, I'm going to have to go down to none ERS here because we're using a lot of it. And I'm not able to catch up as much as I want to on Raikkonen. But we are gaining, slowly but surely. And Leclerc, look at him on the minimap there, going real slow. So I don't know what on earth it is. Very weird. I've literally broken the game fully. I mean, look at that. Even on non-ERS, I'm not really saving that much ERS here. So the V10 engine not allowing me to save as much electrical energy as the V6 here. Maybe something to do with the way the power's delivered and maybe with the way the engine braking is. Maybe the game doesn't recognize the kind of the KERS system, if you will. Not the turbo I'm talking about, just the KERS system maybe. I don't know, under braking. Or maybe even just the way the turbo is. Apparently I haven't been awarded a time penalty for extending the track just by a tiny amount. But now this is hindering me a little bit, the lack of ERS. Yeah, I see now with medium ERS here. The V10 engine's now coming back a bit equalised here. So interesting. I didn't think this would be a case here. After that first lap, I thought, okay, this is going to be a pretty easy first place then. But at the moment, with less electrical energy, not quite as quick as we want it to. And here comes Leclerc. He's definitely not as quick as he wants to. All right, we're gaining on Raikkonen here. Bit of ERS usage on that back straight. And there's some cars fighting ahead that we could also close up to. But can we make a move on Kimi in the Alfa Romeo down the inside? And it's a lovely move there. Actually, the power delivery there. Because the way the car's revving in 4th gear, especially, just allowing me to really chuck it in and then just get the power on so early and start revving out. Like there's so much instantaneous oomph off the apex, I feel, in these high-speed corners. The slower speed, it's a little bit trickier because down to 1st gear is a bit slow to get away, I feel. You can see the acceleration, they're not as good, and then 4th gear where it comes through. So this is what didn't happen in the V12 car, is that it was just slow up until like 6th, 7th gear, whereas this is actually getting some speed now in the middle gears. Gasly v Stroll now. Can we get him? Good exit there. Here we go. Oh, so... Jesus. All right, let's rewind that one. So quick there. I almost just smacked his rear end there. Got so much acceleration off that corner. I need to turn even more so like that. There we go. That's a bit more like it. Right, here we go. Gasly goes defensive there. Very shaky controls on the controller. Get it done and slow down, though. Down to second gear. Go up to third briefly. Down to second again. Get the nose turned in. Right, this bit's slow now. But then here... We're going to wind through fourth gear, fifth gear, start getting some speed. There we go. Kicks in. Go hot lap mode. DRS as well. Obviously, no DRS back in the 2004 days. That would have been pretty crazy. But Gasly's actually got some decent speed with the V6 engine, so he's coming back at me. We're going to go for the move, though, on Lance Stroll. But fair play. The V6 engine actually very well matched to the V10. With DRS and ERS, I'm sure he had probably more ERS deployment than I did, because right now I have to go down to none. We're up into P6. That's a pretty decent effort here. Still got a lap to go. But now I've run out of fuel. So now I'm going to have to go back down to standard mixture, save some fuel. ERS isn't at its peak right now. But we are catching Alexander Albon, who finds himself stuck behind a McLaren car. So maybe P4 or 3 even could be on the cards here. All right, Albon makes a move on the McLaren there. Can't tell which one it is. I think we might have already passed Norris, so I'm going to say it's going to be Sainz, but Leclerc's still stuck here. We lap him again, the same part of the circuit here in Sector 1 as we close up to Albon. It's Norris, actually, my bad, so we've already passed Sainz, but we're closing up very much so to these two cars. We'll probably try and get them on this next straight. Let's go hot lap mode, come on. Engage that. Going to go to standard mixture at least. All right, overtake mode. Here we go. Going to keep it revving in 7th gear. And go 8th gear. Here we go. Building up the speed 3 wide. And we get the move done. Under braking. Got to finish it off. Albon's just there. We get it done up into P4 of the French GP. It's been a pretty decent showing for the V10 car. You can see the speed we're getting away. Look at that there. Revving it out. And getting away from Albon. Using the raw engine power. And we're going to set the fast lap of the Grand Prix, maybe, perhaps. Actually, in this last lap here, a little bit low ERS there, having to go. But looking pretty damn awesome way to end this off. So, this has definitely been way more successful. You know, I said, you know, in the last one with the V12 car, sometimes the experiments, you know, much like real-life scientific experiments, don't work out. This one, I think we can call this a decent success, I think. This is turned out to be a very decent car to drive, actually. Obviously, the AI teammate can't drive it, but the player... Top job, actually. Top stuff. Love that from the V10 engine. Very enjoyable car to drive. It was very, very enjoyable when the quick lefts and rights when we're in 4th, 5th gear. The change direction was real quick, especially I imagine also due to the lightweight nature of the car now as we compensate for the engine difference in the weight there. But no, very good. So obviously it wasn't a grand success for my teammate, but I think pretty decent for us, like I said. So guys, if you did enjoy this experiment, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and let me know, more importantly, what other experiments you guys can think I should be doing here on the game in the coming weeks. Let me know in the comments, and we might do one of those in the future. If you are new around here, do subscribe for weekly full-on content. I've been aarava. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.